I'm missing Caleb too. Thursday's class, I'll send out another announcement. I have a doctor's appointment at Greenville, and I don't think I'll make it back in time to, and I'm probably gonna be driving during the class time, if anything, so I would try to meet virtually, but I just don't think it's gonna work. But we have a lot of things that are gonna be coming, so let me share the camera. Pull up Moodle real quick to go over. So tonight, what is due is your chapter 2 test. Hopefully you guys have already done that. And then the 3.1 quiz and the 3.2 quiz. We're gonna finish 3.1 and 3.2 today, hopefully. 3.2 is like a review anyway, so, did I share? Share. Screen. Okay. So tonight, I did put the recording from last week up here. Do tonight, chapter 2 test, 3.1 quiz, 3.2 quiz. Do not do your quizzes during class, okay? You guys need to be listening to me and then do your quiz. If I start getting issues with that, noticing you guys doing these during the class time, and I'll start getting zeros. All right, this week 10 is gonna post tomorrow. So on Thursday, what I want you guys to do is, okay, this is a final algebra knowledge quiz. I'm giving this to kind of see how much you guys progress throughout the next few weeks. It's more of a data type thing for me, or for the college that we want to see. So I want you guys to take it. It's only like 15 minutes long or less. It's time. So just do the best you can. It's not really graded. It's just more to see how y'all do. And then you're going to take the same quiz at the end of the semester. So to see how you progress. Really, I should have given it earlier, but I forgot about it. I understand. So I want you guys to do that on Thursday. And then we could probably, I want you guys to look at the folder notes for 3.3 and look at the videos for these, write your notes on this, and then you guys can go ahead and do the 3.2 and 3.3 quiz on Thursday. Okay. And then Tuesday, I'll try to finish the 3.4 and 3.5 stuff. Okay, questions? Very good. All right, so what we're gonna do today is finish 3.2, 3.2 and 3.1. 3.1 and 3.2. Where I ended on Thursday, we talked about implicit and explicit. Remember, implicit is where you have an X and a Y in your form. And then explicit is when you're given the f of x. Just the only difference is you write it with the f of x versus y. All right, the thing that I wanted to mention is something called the difference quotient. So let me stop sharing.
Do you want me to shut the door?
Yes, that would be great. Thank you.
Yeah.
No, it will not be due Thursday. I would like you to work on it Thursday, as long as it's done by the due date. But I would like you guys to go ahead and at least get the final algebra quiz and do the notes for 3.3 on Thursday during class time. Y'all are Martin County schools out Thursday? Monday and Tuesday. Can you still go next Tuesday? Okay. All right. It's so weird, like, because I think Bertie was out. Hoggo was out last Thursday or Friday, and Bertie was out too. So, stop sharing. It goes here one more time. See if anybody showed up. All right, so difference quotient is something that you will use in calculus, and I kind of wanted to go over with you guys beforehand. All right, so here's the actual definition. The part that you guys really need to know is that part. Okay? So different question of a function, y equals f of x, the input's x, and then x plus h, so you're inputting an x and x plus h into the function. Where h cannot be equal to 0, results in f of x and f of x plus h, so that if you input the x plus h into a function, and then the x, and then you divide it by x plus h minus x, you end up with this formula. Again, I'm gonna show you guys how to do this, so don't be overwhelmed. But to find the difference quotient of a function, you would use, and what happens here, the x's cancel each other, so that's why it ends up being a total. But this is the difference quotient formula. You would need to know, you're gonna input the x plus h into it, you're gonna input the x, you're gonna subtract them, and then you'll divide by h, and that's gonna be the formula for a difference quotient. Write that down? Good. All right. Let's look at some examples of how we do this. Leave that up there. All right, let's say we want to find the difference quotient, and I'm giving you guys f of x equals 2x squared minus 3x. So this is what I give you, okay? And we want to find the difference. So we're going to use our formula to find it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to enter in this x plus h. So think about it as f of x plus h. What is that going to be? What does that mean? What does that mean we do? So in the place of the x, I have a x plus h. So wherever there's an x, what am I going to put in its place of it?
The 2x.
Wherever there's an x, we're going to replace this x plus h into it. So it's going to become 2 times x plus h squared minus 3 times x plus h. Okay? So that's what f of x plus h means. Wherever there's an x, whatever's here is what you replace in that spot. This is what you missed on Thursday. We did some of this plugging in functions. Okay? So go back, have you looked at it yet? So go back and look at it because it'll clear up some stuff.
Okay.
All right, then we're gonna do f of x. So we have all of this. So we have 2 times x plus h squared minus 3 times x plus h minus our f of x function, which is this. So I'm gonna put that in parentheses because we're doing this whole function. So we're subtracting that from it. And then this is all going to be divided by h. So we have to simplify this. All right, how do I simplify this? Well, we need to do our x plus h squared first. So that's going to be what? 2 times x plus h times x plus h. That's going to be x times x is x squared. X times h is x. H, that's going to be 2 of those. Plus h squared times 2. Okay, so I end up with, I'll write this a little bit smaller, end up with 2x squared plus 4xh plus 2h squared. And then I'm going to subtract this, that's going to be minus 2x squared and a plus 3x, all divided by h. Are you with me? Now what can I do? Combine, what can I combine? The back goes away, right? Okay, I'm left with, 4xh plus 2h squared plus 3x all divided by h. Now what do I do? What can I do? I could take out an h on the top, right? So that would give us what? Divided by h here. Oh, I didn't, you guys, I forgot this whole section here. Okay, let's go back. You guys see what I missed?
Yes.
I didn't do this. So I did this part, which was here. I didn't do this and I did this part, but I didn't include this. I was like, we're missing something. All right, I don't know if I should just erase this whole thing. So this part is this right here, right? So we end up with 2x squared plus 4xh plus 2h squared. Now I need to do this part. So negative 3 times x is a negative 3x, negative 3 times h is a negative 3h. And now I have this part, minus 2x squared plus 3x. Okay, this looks more like it. All divided by h. It's like I kept looking and like, we're missing something. All right, this makes more sense now. Now, we can cancel out some more stuff. So I have a 2x squared and negative 2x squared here. What else can I cancel? All right, so I'm left, I kept thinking, I'm like, I'm supposed to be able to divide and get rid of the h. All right, so we have left f4xh plus 2h squared minus 3h, all divided by h. So all of those have an h in it. So technically what I could do on the top is I could distribute an h over here. And I'm left with 4x plus 2h minus 3, all divided by h. And then the h is canceled, and so we're left with that 4x plus 2h minus 3 as the answer. The answer would be 4x plus 2h minus 3 is the answer. Again, it's a little bit hard concept. I'm gonna do several of these, okay? All right, you guys want to try one? Or do you want me to walk you through another one? Huh?
I'd say another one.
Another, okay. All right, let's do. Four x squared plus 2x. All right, anybody got an idea what we're gonna do first? The formula.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do I do that? So we're looking at this part first. Okay, so we want to find f of x plus h. What does that mean? Okay, Latrell, how do we make the equation thing? How do we set it up? Okay, so you're telling me that we replace the x with the x plus h. That's what it looks like, right? So wherever there's an x, what's taking the place of it is this x plus h. So it becomes 4 times x plus h squared plus 2 times x plus h. Trail, you're on the right track. You just did part of it. Y'all with me on that? Everybody understand that? All right, let's go ahead and simplify that. Let's go ahead and just simplify it, and so we're good on that. So what is this simplified? This means 4 times x plus h times x plus h plus, I'm gonna go ahead and distribute those. It's gonna be 2 times x is 2x, 2 times h is 2h. And then let's simplify this part. X times x is x squared, x times h is xh, x times h is xh, I got a plus h squared. All of this is being multiplied by 4. Everybody with me? XH and XH is a 2XH. And I gotta multiply all of that by 4. So this is gonna be 4x squared plus 4 times 2 is 8xh plus 4h squared plus, and I'm gonna bring this part down now, plus 2x plus 2h. Okay, all of this represents this f of x plus h. So that's just part of our equation, okay? Now, is there anything I can combine over here? No. So now I need to add in the next part. We're gonna subtract f of x here. And remember, f of x is this part, okay? So now what I can do, I'm gonna move this over here, write this out. We got 4x squared plus 8xh plus 4h squared plus 2x plus 2h. This again is f of x plus h. That's what all of this represents. Now we're going to subtract our f of x, which is this. So minus, I'm going to put this in parentheses because it has to be subtracting the whole thing. And then the last part is I divide by h. Y'all with me? Have I lost anybody? Got it? Okay, so now we distribute the negative over here, and then we're gonna get rid of stuff. So we got 4x squared plus 8xh plus 4h squared plus 2x plus 2h minus 4x squared, and that negative also needs to go to the 2x, minus 2x, all divided by h. All right, anything I can get rid of now?
Negative 4x squared.
That one and that one are gonna go.
And then the negative.
2x and negative 2x are gonna go. So I'm left with 8xh plus 4h squared plus 2h, all divided by h. And then we can get rid of some h's. So I'm gonna distribute out an h on the top because they all have an h. Do I see that? So I'm gonna bring out an h, and what do we have left? This is gonna be 8x, because 8x times h gives you 8xh. This is gonna be 4h, because 4h times h gives you 4h squared, and this is gonna be a plus 2, all divided by h. And now I can easily cancel out my h's, and so that is my final answer. 8x plus 4h plus 2. That's your final answer.
Did you simplify it by 2? Or is it so
Do it.
Did you simplify it all by 2 and go like 2 times 4x plus 2h?
I mean, you could, you're just factoring
Yeah.
it, but really, you just leave it like that.
Just curious.
Main reason why we did the H is to get rid of it that way. Questions? Y'all want to try one now? Because the next one I'm gonna do is more difficult than this. Next example. We got some, right, I mean, you can make these functions be anything. So the ones that I've given you guys is quadratic. The linear one is a little bit simpler. Do you want me to give you a linear one to try? We'll try a linear one. And then the next one I'm gonna do is a rational equation to try. And I'm going over this again because if you go on to calculus, you will do some more of this stuff. So I like to go over it. As I'm hoping, are any of you guys planning to take out?
I might if you teach it.
Well, Mr. Price usually teaches it, but I'm not gonna use it. He's just been teaching, he's just like a genius, really, in math, so, you'll like it, I promise. All right, let's do this one. Try that. Same process. It'll be a linear, so it'll be a little bit simpler this time. Got one of those free shirts to wear, you know,
I have to go.
and it's so itchy.
I have to go get one.
I wish I had washed, I didn't have time to wash it, so
I have to go get one.
so itchy.
I don't want to wear it, but it's.
Yeah,
for
I
me.
mean,
But I'm.
You don't have to wear it.
No, I have to because I'm part of the SGA and I'm part of the people that are. Have to. I got me emails specifically telling me to wear it.
Yeah, but how are you supposed to dress up and wear the shirt?
I'm just going to put it, tie it around my waist or something.
Yeah, that'll work.
Or put it in my mouth.
Oh, Casey's here, okay. And. All right, so Casey's getting on. Casey's there with you guys, Latrell? Okay. All right, I got him down. All right, everybody should be working on this. Should be seeing pencils moving. And do the same process. You're gonna put x plus h in there first. Simplify that, then subtract the f of x, the function again, then divide it by h. All right, we ready? Okay, so what we're gonna do first is find f of x plus h. You're gonna take x plus h and plug it where the x is. So this is 3 times x plus h minus 4, okay? Go with me. Simplify this. This will be 3x plus 3h minus 4. I got that? Now we're gonna subtract f of x from this. So this is gonna be 3x plus 3h minus 4 minus our f of x, which is this. 3x minus 4. Again, put that in parentheses because you have to do minus this whole thing, okay? All divided by h. Then we just simplify. So this becomes 3x plus 3h minus 4 minus 3x and then plus 4. Did you guys get that? The signs here are tricky and people get those messed up. So remember, it's subtract the entire thing. Now what can we cancel out? 3x and negative 3x, negative 4 and plus 4. So what are we left with? 3h over h, and this one works out really nice, and you end up with a 3. Is that not amazing? That you do all of this and you can end up with the 3? Very cool. Questions? All right, let's do one more and then we're gonna move on. Okay, here's another one. Let's do. We're gonna talk about domains. What if we have the function f of x equals 4 over x? Oh, I went too fast, Casey. Well, Casey, I'm recording this, so I'm gonna go back and plug it in. Did anybody get a picture? No. Okay. I'm sorry, Casey. I knew I was going fast, and I told myself.
Straight to jail.
Okay, well, it's recorded, so go back, put a star by it, and I will go back and post it as soon as we get done here, and you can watch it, okay? I'm sorry. We got a lot covered, so I'm zooming. All right, we ready? How do we do this one? We're gonna do f of x plus h first. So this becomes 4 over x plus h. All right? Then we got our f of x, which is 4 over x, and we're going to subtract these. I'm going to write this as 4 over x plus h minus 4 over x, all divided by h. Now, the hardest part of this one is knowing how to simplify this. I know how to do this?
Long time, Miss Carson.
Yeah. All right, we got this minus this. Let's simplify the top first. So remember with rational equations, in order to subtract them, what do they have to have? Equal denominators, common denominators, yes. Same thing, equal, common, same thing, same, all the same word, okay? So what would be a common denominator?
X plus h.
So can you change this to an x plus h somehow? Okay, everybody's giving me x plus h, but can I change this to an x plus h? Can I just add an h to this? Have we ever added, just added an
You
h?
should only have to multiply.
Right, you can only multiply. So can I do x plus h as a common denominator? Okay, let's recap.
We did.
2 over 3 plus 4 over 5. You multiply those. Ding, ding, ding. So what do I do for this one? What do I do for this one? I multiply them. Okay, so my common denominator is going to be x times x plus h. Now, everybody remember this? It's been a while, like the first week, I think we did this, or second week.
I'm sorry, my brain's.
Hey, it's okay. We're going back over it. So, but I want you guys to, if you forget things, try simplifying it and hopefully that brings it back, okay? Chance got x times x plus h. So what do I have to multiply this one by to get this? X. So the top becomes 4x. What do I have to multiply this one by to get this? X plus h. So the top becomes this. We have a minus sign in between. And now what can I do? Well, no, I can't do that. Remember, I was thinking about canceling that, but we can't do that because it's an equal to. Remember, that's only with an equation. So we keep our denominator. And the top becomes 4x minus, this goes to each, so that's going to be minus 4x minus 4h. And then we have this divide by h down there. Okay, we can't Latrell, I almost said that too, but remember, we can only cancel out when it's a rational equation where it has an equal to the same thing on the other side. So you can't cancel it out, okay? We just have to write it, okay? So now I have, let's write this. I have 4x minus 4x minus 4h. Now over x times x plus h, all divided by h. Now think about that as h over 1. And technically, I can cancel out those, right? So I have negative 4h over x times x plus h. What would I do for here? How do I divide by this h over 1? What would I do? How would I write this? How do we divide fractions?
You multiply it by x, one, excuse me, one.
You could switch it. Y'all remember that? KFC or keep, flip, change, or whatever little thing y'all learned. Keep it, switch it, kiss. I used to do keep, flip, change, KFC, whatever you remember, okay? So now my h's here cancel. I'm left with a negative 1 over x times x plus h. I forgot something, my 4. Okay. Should be negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. And we got the x times x. We'll leave it just like that. Questions? These can really get really complicated. Get very complicated, but. Anybody? Questions? Okay. All right, moving on. The next thing I want to talk about is domain of a function. Okay. How do we find the domain of a function? Can I erase this? Casey, you got it? Okay. All right, how do anybody know how to find the domain of a function? What is domain? When we talk about the domain of something, what do we talk about?
Jackson said this.
That's good. No, we gotta know how to find the domain without Desmos. What is the domain of a function? Definition. Anybody remembers?
Center sex. Minus 0.
Oh, you guys are just spitting out things. Domain is, think about it in real life terms, it is what is being covered on the X. Okay, so you think about the X values, what's being covered on the X. The actual definition is going to be the largest set of real numbers for which the value of f of x is a real number. Largest set of real numbers is the mathematical definition. Largest set of real numbers for which value my definition is what values of x are being covered. Okay, so for example, say let's write that and we'll talk about this. Domain of the function is the same as saying the domain of the variable x in f of x. Okay, so we're looking at the X values. So what numbers are being covered? So if I look at this example, what is this example? What is this graph of? Circle, okay? If I'm looking at what's being covered on the values of X, remember, how do we read? We read from left to right, correct? So where do I start? At -2. And then where does my graph end? At 2. So if I'm describing the domain of this, if I wrote it in interval notation, I would say it's being covered from -2 to 2, and I would put brackets around it because I'm including those. If I wrote it as an interval, I would write X got to be between 2 and -2. So it has to be greater or equal to -2 or less than or equal to 2. That's how I would write it. Now, can you tell me what the range would be? The range is going to be your Y values. And we read that from the bottom to the top. -2 to 2. Same process. Okay. All right, what about this one? What's the domain?
The origin. But then
What's being covered on the X? Let's start from here.
0.
What does this arrow mean? All of it. Jackson said all of it. What does that mean? How would I write that? I wouldn't say all of it, would I? Everything is being covered. You were correct. Because what does this arrow mean? This arrow means it's going to keep going to the left. And this arrow means it's going to keep going up to the right. So everything on the X is being covered. So Jackson is correct in all of it. But how do we write all of it? Yes, Jackson. From negative infinity to positive infinity. That's how I would write it. Or you could also say, instead of all of it, you could say all real numbers. Does this come about to y'all? Do you remember this a little bit? What would the range of this one be from the bottom to the top what's being covered? The range is the Y. This arrow means it's going to keep going down, right? This one keep going up. So the range on this would be what? Okay. So linear equations are pretty easy because usually that's what they're going to be. All right, so how do I write the domain? What are the rules for finding the domain of the function? The first thing that you guys are always going to start with and assuming is that it's always, the domain's going to start with being all real numbers. You just assume it's all real numbers to begin with. Then the next thing you look at, does the equation have a denominator? Because if it has a denominator in it, what can the denominator not be? 0. So then we go there, okay? And then so let me write these rules down. Does everybody have this? So I'm just talking about the rules of how to find the domain. These are the three main rules. Get those down and kind of talk about it before. We're always going to start off with just assuming that it's all real numbers. Then if you notice in the equation, there's a denominator. You cannot have 0 as a denominator, so you're going to exclude any number that makes a 0 in the denominator. And then the last one, if there is a radical symbol, okay, remember you can't have a negative under the radical. So you're going to exclude any number that makes the radical negative. All right, so let's look at these three examples or three equations I have up here. All right, for number one, we're going to start off with the domain is the set of all real numbers. Then we need to check to see, okay, does this equation have a denominator in it? Does this equation have a denominator in it? No, so we're good on that one. Is there a radical in this? No. So then what can we automatically say the domain is going to be? Number one, which is all real numbers. All real numbers. You can say all real numbers, or we can also write what? And negative infinity to positive. This will be interval notation. It's the easiest thing to write, but that's what it means, okay? All right, what about number two? Take a look at number two. We're going to start off with all real numbers, and then we're going to look at the second step. Is there a denominator here? Yes. So we're going to have to exclude any numbers that would make that denominator 0. So how do we find those two numbers? All right, Casey said 2 would make it 0. Is there anything else besides 2? And a negative 2, good. Now, how do we, instead of just guessing or plugging numbers in, what we would do is we would set x squared minus 4 equal to 0, and we would solve it. And how do we solve that? Well, this is a difference of squares problem, or you could add the 4 and then take the square root. But I know this is x plus 2 times x minus 2, and then I solve x 2 and x negative 2. So what you're going to say for this is you cannot include 2 and negative 2, because if you do, it would make this 0 and it wouldn't work. Okay, so we would say the domain here is all real numbers except x cannot be equal to 2 or negative 2. Okay, does that make sense? Because again, if you plug in a 2 or negative 2 there, it's going to make the problem not work. So we would say all real numbers except for those two. All right, the last one is the radical symbol here. Okay, notice here we have a radical, and we know that underneath here this cannot be negative because then it makes it a complex number, an imaginary number, which we can't do. So we know that underneath the radical, this has to be positive. So we have to exclude any numbers that make it negative. Okay, so what I would do is I want it to be positive, so I'm going to set it greater than or equal to 0 to solve, to find the domain, because we want it to be positive. Okay, so I do greater than or equal to 0 because that means positive. So now I solve this inequality. Subtract 4. I have a negative 3t is greater than or equal to negative 4. And I'm going to divide by negative 3. Does anybody remember what happens when you divide by negative on your inequality? I remember the rule. the sign changes. So this will have to be T is less than or equal to positive 4/3. So that would be the domain on this one. She would have to say T has to be less than or equal to positive 4/3. Are we kind of getting how to do the domain? So these are kind of the basic rules for it. You go through those and figure it out from there. The last thing on this that I didn't really cover, there's some stuff about area of a circle in here. How to find the area of a circle. The formula for that is I R times squared, R squared. We just have that formula. It's pretty easy. R is your radius, right? Literally just plug the radius in and multiply by pi. So again, if we had a circle, radius is 4, we would do A pi times 4 squared, 16 pi. You could leave it at 16 pi or times by 3.14. The units in the area. What are the units for an area? If I know the units, what do the units need to be? Like, let's say this is inches. And this would be inches squared. So just remember that for your answers. I don't know if there's any of those on the quiz, but. The only other thing I didn't really do is properties of functions. Just know for function, if you're adding, you can add 2 functions, you can subtract 2 functions, you can divide 2 functions, you can multiply 2 functions. When you're dividing 2 functions, though, remember if you're finding the domain for the denominator cannot be equal to 0. Now that's pretty much all of that. 3.2, we've already gone over how to do the vertical line test. Y'all remember talking about the vertical line test, so whether something's a function or not, you do the pencil test, which is the vertical line test. That's really all of 3.2, and we've already done it. So, the other thing about 3.2 is just answering questions about a function, which we've been doing already, but y'all can take a look at it in your book, on the folder in 3.2, but we've already done all these things, so it's just kind of combining it all together in one section. But and that's everything. So Thursday, we're not going to meet in person. I want you guys to work on that algebra quiz. It's not going to be graded. And then I want you guys to look at 3.3 folder notes, write down your notes that you're watching the videos, and then you guys can do the quiz on 3.3, 3.2 and 3.3 because they're together. Okay? All right. I will see you guys next Tuesday. I apologize again for missing. This one wasn't for me, though. It was for the kids. Sickly. And if you guys get a chance, if anybody drives and wants to come out here, we're having our fall festival today from 11 to, what time is it? 1, 11 to 1. If you guys get a chance to come out here, free food and games and fun stuff. So, all right, bye guys.